Hello and welcome to my home. If you're new here, my name's Karen. Today I'm really excited to be involved in the Make It New challenge hosted by Carol at My Blessed Nest and Jessenia at Be Thrifty 2. I'm excited about this because this is just one of those years where number one, it's kind of hard to find things in the store, and number two, there's a lot of things for us to be spending our money on this year, and things are tight for a lot of people, so it's a great time to turn old things into new things. I have this jar that I got at the Goodwill for $1 and also a tray, and as you can see, I have this nice mess behind me and spread out before me. I've been searching my basement high and low to come up with ingredients and decorations that I could use for this. I also did buy little village pieces from the dollar store. I'm going to pan you over here to see this close up, and then I'm just going to get started and see what happens. I'm starting here with my jar, and originally I was going to make a little village in the bottom of the jar like what you would have with a snow globe, but I found because the jar is beaded on the side that it really distorted the image that you were seeing as you looked through. So I decided I would make a pretty candle holder out of this jar. I'm going to be making snow, and I'm going to teach you a very easy method to make snow. But what I do first is I paint the bottom of the jar, and I'll be doing the same with the tray. That way, if I miss the spot with my snow, you still have white on the bottom and it won't even be noticeable. The recipe for snow is only 3 ingredients. I'm using baking soda, Mod Podge, and white acrylic paint. The only reason for the paint is that if it gets yellowed over time, you have the paint to keep it white. As far as recipe amounts go, there's no magic measurement. The more Mod Podge you have, the thinner your snow will be. The more baking soda you have, the thicker and chunkier it would be. I wanted mine to be more on the chunky side. So I was going very, very easy with the Mod Podge, and I decided it'd be better for me to have to keep making snow than to have tons left over because it's only going to harden. Once I'm happy with the consistency, then I can go ahead and start putting it in the bottom of my jar. I was purposely messy because I kind of wanted it to come up on the sides of the jar a little bit like real snow would, and I of course didn't want it to be completely smooth because I wanted it to kind of rise and fall. You could build it up as much as you wanted to, or you could just keep it as a thin layer. Mine stayed as a thin layer. Once I was done with my jar, now I'm mixing up more snow that I can use in the bottom of my glass tray. Because I'm going to be putting a fake candle that I got at the Dollar Tree in that jar, I'm going to let the Mod Podge baking soda mixture dry because I don't want to glue the candle to the bottom because you have to flip it over to turn it on and off. First, I'm going to be painting the bottom of my tray with my white acrylic paint, just like I did with the jar. I really don't even feel a need for this to dry. I just want to coat the bottom in case I miss a spot with the snow. But honestly, that wasn't even a thing, so you could easily skip this step. Now I'll do the same thing that I did with my jar, and I'll just let it be all nice and chunky and uneven as I spread my snow. If you're new to my channel, my overall goal is to really encourage others who are taking care of their homes with cleaning videos, how-to cleaning videos, cooking, recipes, DIYs, and loads of encouragement as I show you what I'm doing in my own home. If you have some time, I would love it if you would take a look at some of my other videos and see if it's a place where you might like to stick around and become part of a positive community that I'm building here. This time I'm not letting my snow dry because I would like to use it partly as glue. And what I'm doing is I'm setting down my figurines and coming up with a general plan of what I think might look nice. In the end, I'm going to end up changing it. When I craft, I tend to have a general concept and then I'm just sort of creating as I go. And if I don't like it, I just change it. Now I'm putting Mod Podge on the bottom of all my little figures so that they will stick down and have some glue on that side as well. I decided to add some baking soda across the top so it looks like freshly fallen snow. Next, I added some silver glitter that gave it a magical snow globe appearance. I purchased this wired greenery also at the dollar store, and so I thought it would look pretty if I trimmed the glass tray all the way around. So what I'm doing is I'm just seeing what fits so I can trim it, and then on the corners I am crimping the wire so that it stays, and once it's crimped so that the form is there, then I'll be gluing it down with my glue gun. Of course, I got some of that greenery on my piece, so I just took some tweezers and got those little green pieces off one by one. With my mess taken care of, I'm just using my glue gun now to glue the greenery to my glass. Next, I just look around for any loose spots that might need a little extra glue. As I look at my piece, I thought it might be cute to put some of the snow I created on the tops of all the figures so that it looks like it just snowed and there's still snow on each piece. I felt like my piece was empty and bare because you see those really blank corners. So I went looking through my ornaments and I found a little house ornament that I thought would look perfect on this, as though the carolers were caroling in a neighborhood. I tried it a few different ways, but since my carolers are about as tall as the house, it really didn't work, so I ended up putting it there in the back, as you can see, so that it looked like the house was off in the distance, and then it made more sense that the carolers were so tall. Honestly, I just keep messing with it until I'm satisfied with how it looks. I'm considering buying more figurines at the dollar store. You'll have to let me know what you think. Does it look full enough, or do you think it needs a little bit more? And here I'm just touching it up with some more snow. Since I added snow, I'm giving it one more sprinkle with the silver glitter. I found this silver ribbon in my stash, so I decided it'd be pretty to put it around the greenery, and I'm gonna make a bow. I know a lot of people feel like they can't make a bow because they feel like you have to tie it, but you totally don't have to tie it. Here you can see I made a loop and I'm seeing if I like the size, and then I cut it, and I'm gonna glue that ribbon to the back of my bow. Next, I glue the center together. Now I'm going to cut a small piece to wrap around that center that will look like I tied a bow perfectly, even though I didn't tie anything. Now I'm measuring a piece of ribbon that will go behind my bow that looks like the ties to the bow. And what I like to do is cut it to a triangle on the edges so that it looks like ribbon. Did anyone happen to notice I'm actually using kitchen shears? If you are doing a DIY with me, it is definitely one of those, if I can do it, you can do it. But you see how I'm just cutting that on the corner so that when you open it, it has that nice little pointed in the middle look. I'm going to glue my ribbon to the back of the bow, and then I can glue the whole thing on my greenery. My jar snow is dry, so now I'm just going to take my little silver candle that I got at the Dollar Tree and set it down in the middle. I'm taking the same silver ribbon and I'm going to glue it around the jar, and then I'm going to make another bow for the front of the jar. I love the simplicity of this, and I love how the candle glows through all of the texture of the jar. And there it is. Here's a glass tray and a glass jar now made into a really cute Christmas decoration. I appreciate Carol and Jessenia for giving me the motivation to do this project. I love how it came out. All of the playlist links will be in my description box below so that you can get many more great ideas. Remember, as always, that I love you and God loves you too, and I can't wait to see you next time.